The Triple I Showcase has come and gone, and we need to talk about it. What caught our eye? Well, let's find out right here on the First 30 Podcast. Thank you for listening to the First 30. I'm your host, Chad Callahan, and alongside me are the indie titles that devs gave up on a long time ago. Tim Harris.
Hello.
David Marino.
Rip Second Extinction.
And Rick Weirdbeard Hogerhide.
My Kickstarter is stuck at 70% for the past couple of months. Please help me out.
Oh, I'm sorry.
that
It'll
push.
never happen. Yeah. Is this
That
the push?
viral
This is that
push.
push. Yeah.
Listen,
we'll start here.
you can still be a tier 2 backer. One of the things that I'm sending out are autographed postcards, I guess. For $1,000.
Actually, David, I know helped kickstart a game. What was it? Didn't you get one going a while back?
Psychonauts
You were
2.
like in the credits. Psychonauts 2.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
worth it.
Craig and I are in the credits of
The
Psychonauts 2.
credits. That's what it was. I was trying to remember. I remember you were in the credits. I think the reason why that one shocks me so much is because Psychonauts 2 to me felt like it was such a AAA title because it was just a beloved game. But maybe I might be having my head backwards because you liked it so much. I just thought it was a AAA game.
Yeah.
Psychonauts had quite the cult following, but they started, like, Double Fine started it when they were independent. That's why they crowdfunded it. But then Microsoft bought them, so by the time Psychonauts 2 came out, it essentially was a big platform release.
Okay, that makes sense. Oh, well, that's good. So that worked out. But you are still in the credits, and congratulations for that. How long ago did you back that? It would have been years ago.
Like, immediately when it came out in, like, 2017 or something like that.
Whoa. Okay. Wow, that was a
Now,
long time ago.
do you feel gypped that you did not get a free copy of the game?
Yeah.
What?
Did you get
You
a free
didn't get a
copy
free
of the
copy?
game?
I got the copy I paid for. I backed it for the price of the game.
Never mind then. I
Oh.
rescind my...
So I guess
My
it's not a
snark.
free copy.
I got
but
when the
it's
game
like-
came out though,
Yeah.
I did regret not doing the like
Deluxe?
super fan backer tier because everybody that did that got a brain in a jar. Like you could go to
Oh,
this
that's cool.
spot in the Psychonauts headquarters and you had a brain in the jar and it described like what your
Oh,
mental
in-game?
powers were. In game, yeah.
Oh, I thought
was
you
really
meant like
cool.
you got one like in the mail or
Oh,
something.
no.
They gave you like a little trophy.
I was like, they didn't send. No, that wasn't.
Yeah.
It was just in game.
That's cool. All right. Oh, that would have been cool to see because then we could have been like, that's my friend, you know?
I'm in the game.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah. Well, next time. But we normally do a game on the show at the very beginning, but we have so much to talk about
A
because
lot.
we
Yeah.
had the Triple I Showcase, which is, I guess it's the first ever of doing this, and it was essentially imagine the E3 showcase of independent games specifically, which I guess it would be equivalent to like a AAA showcase, I guess is where they're going with it. And they had a lot of games on there, which we'll get into. Okay, let's get into like the overall sentiment on the idea. Like this is because E3 is gone. We won't see that anymore. The only thing we really have anymore is like Summer Games Fest and Game Awards, which really are the only ones doing it. And then obviously like PlayStation and Xbox and whoever else,
And the
Nintendo
Tokyo
Switch.
Game Show.
Yeah.
Tokyo
Oh,
Game
yeah.
TGS.
Show. You're right.
TGS is
You're right.
big.
TGS. But we have those to look forward to. But honestly, I like the fact that this is very independent specific. There's no AAAs to kind of outshine specifically other ones. Although in this one they did start off strong, but we'll talk about that in a minute.
Yes, they did.
But you know, at the same time, like it didn't feel like everyone's waiting for the Final Fantasy VII remake, thing to come on, or Final Fantasy 16, all these like very expensive games that
Unless you
people
were
got
in the
crazy.
comments section.
Yeah, then you were screaming for Silk Song the entire time, and like you have for the past 12 years, essentially.
Yeah.
That's fair. I guess, yeah, that's another game that I always forget is kind of an indie because it's so big.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? It's such a beloved game that I don't call that indie anymore. I will say that outright, that I feel like it doesn't feel indie when you hit a certain threshold, in my personal opinion. But anyways, let's get into it. Rick is the one that kind of proposed this idea, and I actually didn't even know this was happening today. Rick, what is your thoughts? Like, I want to get you to start this off. Like, how
Well,
did you feel about this?
My biggest thing is this was put on by a bunch of developers. I know that Devolver was there. I know that like just overall, it felt good because Red Hook did it, who did the developers behind Darkest Dungeon, Risk of Rain, Slay the Spire, Vampire Survivors. All those devs essentially came together and were like, hey, we get squashed on like Nintendo lives, right? Because you get so much just thrown at you on a Nintendo showcase, and then they'll maybe show one for 30 seconds that's just like, and look at this cool indie. Now back to our 12th, I don't know, survival game that we're gonna.
Here's another Mario game. Yeah, I can see that already.
And I think right now there are so many really good indie titles coming out, but for every one Balatro, you have 10 other, you know what I mean? Like games that should do well that just don't seem to do it. I like this because it was all killer, no filler, very little like Jeff Keighley talking type of thing.
It was all trailers all day, baby.
Yeah. So like that, give it to me straight into my veins. Because if something sucked, I knew it was only on for like a minute. There was no 5-minute long dev insight type things. Like, I don't know.
They did a couple of them, but even still, they weren't long. Like it was like 30 seconds. Hey, I worked on this. We did this, that, and the other. And that was it. It
was
wasn't
like,
like,
game was cool too. That helps.
They had the one, it was like the composer
music
showcase where the guy was talking about, I wrote the music for this game. It's like, oh, that's cool. Can you show me the game though? Like, I'd like to see. I'd like to see what you wrote over what you're talking about.
To be fair, they did that really well. I forget what game it was. I'm blanking on it. Oh, was it
Flintlock?
Hyper? Oh,
Yeah,
Flintlock. Yes, Flintlock. Thank you. But they did start showing the gameplay as he was composing it. It did take a minute because he did talk for a little bit, but they just start showing it. So I think they did an okay job at showcasing it. And again, it was maybe 2 minutes out of the entire thing, but there was like a trailer within there as well. Because I'm assuming a lot of these are quote unquote world premieres, which I always get irritated when I see this. Because is it? Like I feel like people have been talking about these world premieres every single time like anything gets slightly released. And it's not that exciting. But I think that one did a really good job at showcasing somebody
now
quickly.
Do you think that there was more hype in something like this that may have had a ton of games in it, but they were all they were mid-level at best. I would say none of these are AAA titles, right? Or would you rather take a like Ubisoft event that they do where you'll get some X-Defiant, you'll get some Assassin's Creed, you'll get all the big AAAs, but there's only like really 6 or 7 things coming out of it?
I'm going to rely on Tim on this one because I'm going to start on my first thought and I'm going to say I don't want it with the Ubisoft stuff personally, but that's just my initial thought, Tim.
So here's my thoughts on this, right? I was hype out of the gate because they let off real strong. And like, I'm a big fan of indie titles. So something like this, every single trailer is just like banger in my head. And
banger,
like I get
banger.
Yeah, I'm straight hype the entire time. Whereas like when they're doing AAA games, I'm like, that one kind of looks all right. Let's see the next one. I'm waiting for like one big announcement, maybe 2 with AAA games. With indie titles, if there's a big showcase like this, 9 times out of 10, like most of the games are going to be something that I plan to pick up at some point. So I'm a lot more hype for these smaller games, and I could probably pick all of them up because they're usually cheaper than a large title.
True.
So
I think also on top of that, you don't know what to expect in this.
This is true too.
At an Ubisoft, you know what you're gonna get.
Yeah.
You know you're gonna get a Nintendo.
Yeah,
you know
you're waiting for that one big announcement. Like, what's Nintendo's next game? What's the next Assassin's Creed's going to look like? With these, even with this kind of like platform agnostic one, where you're not getting like just Devolver's games or like just. They're the only ones I can think of that like had a thing, but they'd have like the Cozy Game Show or the Friendly Game Show or like those other ones. Or like this is just like, look, all of these people are working on this stuff. There's no theme. It's like this is just stuff that's coming out. It's a nice mixed grab bag of different indie games that are on the horizon.
And they're fairly recent. Not the furthest I saw was summer of 2025, but everything else was like sometime this year or coming to early access or coming, demo out now or
get a demo, get a date. There was like I think pretty much everything had that. Some of it was like stuff that is out and it was just like getting a content
DLC,
update or something.
Yeah,
but we have, I think for the most part, like concrete time frame to look forward to.
Yeah. But David, I think me and you are going to have an agreement on what I'm about to say next. I think this is far too heavy, and I think indie needs to reevaluate on roguelikes and city builders. I get that they're easy to churn out. I get that they're easy to build, it seems like.
They are. It's not easy. I would
Okay,
not.
let me just say, maybe they're easy sells.
They're economical because you can you
Yes, that's
you
good.
put in a lot of work to a few assets, and then you're able to do a lot more with those
There
than
you
if you're
go.
making like curated custom designed levels
They're
as you
also
progress through the
really
story.
easy to mess up. So that's a big
Yeah,
thing
it's-
too.
There is
fair.
that risk.
I just want that to be the poll quote for this episode is Chad going, nah, fucking roguelikes are the easiest thing to make. Y'all the devs have mush for
It
brains.
feels like it. Honestly,
Trying
that's
to
the only thing that
balance
makes
those
sense.
games is got to be insane, especially something like Binding of Isaac. There's like
I'm
7 billion
sure.
items.
I'm sure that there is some difficulty. I'm not trying to display their how
Keep
hard
going,
it is to make a
Chad.
game.
Yeah.
But no,
what I will say, I feel like it's an easy sell, and I'm over it.
Okay,
They're like they're
that's fair.
placating to a single audience.
I do want to say that
over and
I
over and
feel
over and
like
over and over.
you two are blowing this out of proportion though, because like out of 40 trailers, maybe 10
Half
of
of
them
them.
fall into that category. I wrote down almost 20 games and almost none of them have the same genre. I just want
okay,
to point
well,
that out.
Okay, fine. I also put
I
City
will
Builder. in
agree
there.
with
I know there was
Chad,
at least 3
'cause
city builders that I saw.
the number of times I saw a top down perspective
Just
of
because
a
something's top
No,
down
no, no,
does
I'm
not make
talking
it a
about, like,
roguelike.
of a like a city or a farm where I'm like selecting units and then like having to manage them as a group. Like there was a lot of that going on. Also, I love the fact that the show called it out during that
Yes!
little interstitial where they're like, we've only got a few more roguelikes. We promise. It's like, yeah, I know. Get to
Yeah.
some other stuff, please.
Thank you. Like when the showcase itself calls it out, in my opinion, it's like I've said this before. I have roguelike fatigue, and I'm over it. I'm so over
But that
being
was
hyped
that
for
was the
something
other
and then
thing
not
that
being
I had
excited
because like
about
a
it.
trailer would come up. I was like, oh man, this looks really interesting, and I'd go to write the name down for the show, and I'm like, well, hold on a second. Then I go to Steam, look up the store page. It's like action roguelike. It's okay. I don't want to. I'm not dealing with that. Which
Yeah.
one of the games I want to talk about. I looked it up, and it's not a roguelike. So I'm
Yeah.
very
Okay.
much looking forward
Be
to what that
wary with that term too, because a lot of things just add that
They
to
might
their
just add it in there.
their-
That's fair.
title just to make them more appealing to a larger
All
audience. Yes.
That's fair. There are a few in there that I feel like I don't want to sit there and say, oh, I don't like roguelikes. I'm just tired of them.
I
I'm
don't
so
like
sick of them.
roguelikes.
There's a couple, like I like Hades, and I actually kind of like that last game we played, the what was it?
Sworn,
That was
the
kind of
Hades,
fun.
like, yeah.
That was fun, but I don't want to do that over and over again. Like I'm getting tired of it. Anyways, let's move on because I think I'm just burying myself in a hole real quick,
It's fine.
and I'm not
I
winning
have to
this
defend
argument.
my games because I love
You can
roguelikes
defend it.
and city
I'm-
builders.
The honor of my games.
Look, and here's the thing. There was one city builder on there, and I want to call it out, and I forget the name of it, and I didn't write it down because I wasn't going to be that excited about it. But it was the one that was on the mountain, and I forget the name
Oh,
of it, but
yeah.
it looked really cool. That was the only one that caught my attention. I was like, I like this. But I already know, even before playing it, like I was even watching the trailer, I was like, all right, I'm already bored of it.
You are talking about Lay Sarah, the Summit
Yes.
Kingdom.
Yes, yes.
Thank you. That's the one. I got really excited for that at the beginning. And then as I was watching the trailer for it, like halfway through, I was like, all right, I'm over the game already. Like I saw what I needed to see. Thank you.
Well, I feel like we keep teasing the games. Why don't we take a break and then talk about all of our favorite games?
Also, a quick reminder, you can watch this podcast as well on YouTube. You could go to youtube.com/@first30podcast to see our beautiful faces. And you could just comment in the comments below and talk all the trash. You could say how shitty our opinions are. We'd love to hear them. Just let us know. But let's get into some games. I think I'm going to kick it off because I have a sinking feeling that my picks are going to be on y'all's list as well. But I want to start off with the one that I'm most excited for, but also the most hesitant over because they showed no gameplay. And I hope I say this right, is the Rakugaki. I don't
Oh,
know.
yeah.
Rakugaki
Yep.
is the one I'm most hyped for. What I was
choice.
most excited to see was the fact that this was both Riot backed and it was Gearbox backed. So the two different developers. I think there was Riot picked them for like some type of special developer. I forget the name of the thing that they won over, but
It's like
I
an
thought that was really
accelerator
interesting.
program.
Yeah, and then Gearbox picked them up. Very exciting. I think they were Hispanic based. I can't remember which country they came from. So I was really excited to see that. In the game, gorgeous. Like at least the trailer looked gorgeous. Again, I saw no gameplay, and that's the only
Yeah,
thing
they're-
that made me very hesitant.
Even on the store page, because I went and looked at if there was any more information on the store page during the show, and there's like 2 clips. I don't even know the clips because they're basically just animated images in the store
Yeah.
page of like grind rails, and that's it. So there's really no exploration shown off. We don't know if or what the combat is going to look like. Graffiti
Yeah.
is in here somehow. I don't know if you're like tagging like a Jet Set Radio or something like that.
Yes.
That's what I was assuming when I saw this. I thought this was going to be very Jet Set Radio, but I also thought this was going to be, something about it feels very cyberpunk, very neon signs, very dystopian future. But at the same time, like the artwork is very vibrant and exciting. A little bit like Valorant. It's like hyper colorized, that like super saturated colors. That really drew me in, but I have no idea what the gameplay is
If
going
it's
to be
anything like Jet Set, it's gonna be amazing because this is like an
Yeah.
updated Jet Set. If it's anything like that, and like we all love Jet Set, everyone
Yeah.
does, whether they like it or not.
like. Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Yes.
I don't know. Everything about that game looked great, except I just want to know what it does.
We don't really know what it
how we
is.
play.
I mean,
Mhm.
from the store page, it says it's a 3D action platformer. So
Already in.
Yeah.
See,
yeah,
it's
it's
not
going to be.
roguelike.
It has a lot.
Shoot.
I hope it has a lot of potential. It should be really interesting.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, David, what game do you have on your list specifically that you're excited about?
All right, so I did have Rakugaki. That was one I wanted to look at. So Chad has crossed one off the list.
I
This
told you
other
it's gonna
game
be on there.
that caught my eye, I actually thought was going to be Housemarque's next title. I have not seen them in quite a while, and was really hoping
what
that
did Housemarque do before?
Super Stardust and
Oh.
Nex Machina and what was the one on PS4? Resogun.
Okay.
But no, this what was it called? Kill Knight.
Yes.
Oh,
Kill
yeah.
Knight.
Kill
I
Knight
heard
top
that.
down bullet hell shooter. Looked
See, I saw that
really
and I
good.
saw. I was like, that's a
Um,
Tim and David game if I
oh,
ever
yeah.
heard it.
Yeah, this one, because it looks almost exactly like Nex Machina, just with like a kind of fantasy punk vibe instead of cyberpunk, but just the fast flowing arcadey feel of the trailer, like it's got me hyped. I'm really looking forward to this one.
It also kind of reminded me of the Blasphemous series. If you, yes, no,
I haven't played that one.
Oh
don't think I
yeah, a
played
little
that.
bit.
like the vibe, not necessarily like artwork style or anything, but vibey is just
Yeah,
You're-
you've got like that kind of Black Plague
yes, exactly.
aesthetic.
But with the knight. I did like that one. I think the artwork alone drew me in. I don't know. I'm not huge like how do you define these games?
Bullet hell.
Bullet shooter.
It's bullet hell.
Thank you.
It's a twin stick shooter, but
I'm not
instead
a
of
huge
having
fan
like a
of these
vehicle, you're just a
types,
guy.
but I liked the vibe that went into it. It felt very, I felt very dystopian kind of, but like Camelot era.
I'll
Yeah.
give you what my the note that I wrote down for it. Kill Knight, Playside Studios. Kill Knight, in which you play as a knight who kills things. Like I think that pretty much sums up exactly what you're going to be doing
Great
in this
name.
It's
game.
good.
Yeah, super fun.
And this one is slated for Steam, Xbox Series X and S, PS5, and Switch, launching sometime in 2024.
Yeah, so I love the fact that these games are coming out.
Oh, yeah. It's
relatively
literally
soon.
this game. It was like right after they did Slay the Spire 2.
Yeah.
And
Well,
my brain
Tim-
just exploded, and I was like, This is the best showcase ever.
Yeah, because they had
Well,
they
go ahead.
started showing like the arena, and then he just like starts firing bullets in every direction. I was like, oh man, yes, let's go.
Yep.
it was super hype. I think that was what made me interested in it right away. It was like, I like the fast paced nature of it. So it worked really well. But Tim, do you want to explain your next game?
Yeah. Okay. So I didn't take down very good notes, so I don't have the like the subtitle for this game. But my game that I have chosen first is called Gestalt.
Yes,
yeah.
the
Oh,
steampunk
yeah.
one.
It's the
Yes,
one that
it is.
I want to say specifically that Chad, before you watch, said, this is going to be a Tim game. Guess what?
yeah. Oh.
Tim game.
Immediately when I saw it in the trailer, I was like, yeah, he's right.
Steam and Cinder.
That's it, yes. This is a steampunk stylized Metroidvania. The combat looks super fluid, like the animations look great. If we're showing it off, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to find all the clips or not, but the skill tree that popped up during this trailer
Yes.
was amazing. Like, there's just so much going on
It's
here.
massive.
And the hair was so fluid.
The hair.
Oh my
yeah.
god, I loved it.
The two things, I wrote two things down. The first one, Tim will love it. The second one I wrote down, very fluid, or
Yeah.
looks very fluid. I
It
mean,
does.
obviously, it you never know until you actually have your hands on it, but the game just looked like it would be fun to play.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not a huge, like, what do they call these types of games? Metroidvania.
Yeah.
Types of games. I'm not a huge fan of them. I go in and out of whether or not I want to play them. But this one actually caught my attention. The character design on all of the characters, top
Yeah.
notch. I saw like steampunk Carmen San Diego, and I'm like, bitch, I'm in.
Sold.
I've
That's the
watched
best way to
it
put it.
So
That is a really
much.
good extrapolation of what was happening.
Yes.
And like the other character who is like, it's not even steampunk, but they made futuristic steampunk look really good on one of the characters with like this like orangish red hair, and she's got like the green reticle over
Yep.
her eye, and it like almost feels like it's kind of going that like futuristic sci-fi route, but still works. Like they do a really good job in
Mhm.
these character designs, and that alone was a big selling
Oh, yeah.
point. So like smooth gameplay plus like character design. I
Yeah.
was so excited for that
It
one.
doesn't look like they're doing anything outside of the scope of a Metroidvania. It doesn't look like they're rewriting the genre or anything, but like
Mhm.
everything about the design looks phenomenal, and I cannot wait to get my hands on it because it just looks so fluid, and I am ready for more. Please.
I mean, at the end of the day, like Metroidvania games, like yeah, sure they're in and out, but you don't typically, at least in my personal opinion, you don't go back and replay them. So
Yeah.
you're always looking out for another one to kind of scratch that itch. So if you are a big fan of this, I feel like this will probably scratch that itch, and you'll probably like it because it looks fluid, and as long as the gameplay is really good, that's the number one thing that you want.
Yeah,
in
and
a
it's
Metroidvania.
it's launching on Steam on May 21st.
Soon.
What, super soon.
Yeah.
Next month. Wow. All right. All right, Weird Beard. What is your game of choice that you want to bring to the table?
I don't. There's a lot that I kind of want to talk in here. One that I don't want to talk about because it's not a game, it's an update. So this is just like I'm gonna give a runner up. The new Darkest Dungeon game mode.
Yes.
Listen, Darkest Dungeon 2 has disappointed me on a lot of levels. Give me the new game mode. It looks okay. The game that I will talk about first is Streets of Rogue 2. Now, when I talk about Streets of Rogue, Chad, this is a roguelike that you would like.
Yep.
Because it's not about like...
Isn't that the sandbox game?
Yes, it's
Yes.
like a giant,
Okay.
and you can play okay, the first game is great because it essentially allows you to fuck around and find out with anything that you want to do.
Love a good fuck around
If,
and find out.
Like, you can be a guy who's just like, you know what, I'm just going to kill all of the police officers that are down in the streets. Or I can be a stinky boy who's like so smelly and homeless that like I rob garbage cans. It's like, it's really good because of how dumb it allows you to be. And Streets of Rogue 2 looks just as goofy, but more polished almost. I don't know how to say it. Like, if you haven't played the first one, it's $4.99 on Steam. So
Yeah.
Oh, not bad.
pick it up.
Let me see if it's
is this-
Steam Deck verified.
Is this like something like I don't know, Hades or that other game we looked at where you're essentially
No.
dungeon crawling?
No, this is like think of it like there's a whole bunch of different levels of a city. And as you go deeper into the city, it's like a, different level down. And each level has its own sandbox world essentially going on. So it's closer to like a Spelunky type of game where there's different areas that you go
okay.
into. Like this is the one with all the meth heads in it. And, you can either go straight to the elevator that takes you lower, or you can go in and do all these different little side things that you want to do. And really the combat is what's crazy because it has like, do you remember Worms? Like forever ago?
Yes, we love Worms.
It has
We're
the
big
same
fans.
kind of combat mechanics in that you don't know how shit's really gonna go. Like, I'm just gonna throw a grenade and see what happens. And I enjoy that because
Physics be damned.
yeah, like it just leads to so many, I don't know, I wasn't planning for that to happen, but it worked anyway moments that's like, it's really good. And again, the first one I thought was a winner. This is done by Tiny Build, and their track record for me is immaculate. So
Spotless. Yeah.
super duper double down on it.
You know what? I kind of looked at that one and I was like, I don't know. I may or may not like it, but for $4.99, and the first one $4.99 right now, but it is playable on Steam Deck. So
And
Yeah.
look at the ratings.
Just saying.
It is like overwhelmingly positive with 15,000 reviews.
on, let me look.
96%.
Yes, I'm telling you,
Whoa.
like
yeah, this is overwhelmingly positive.
this
Yeah,
is
yeah,
a game. This is the type of game where it's described as Deus Ex mixed with the anarchy of GTA meets Nuclear Throne. So it's just
the best of all those games.
it's just chaos all the time, and I am a chaos wizard. So that's my pick for the first one.
I was so
You've sold me on
excited
it.
when they showed that part 2 was coming out. I was like, oh man, I got so happy.
All right. Well, I guess I'll start off the next one. I'm torn between picking this one because I think again it's going to be on someone else's list, so I don't want to take it from you guys.
Take it.
But Mouse.
Yeah, that was the
Okay.
one that
I
I
am-
think a lot of people were super pumped about.
Beyond excited for this one. I saw this one and I was like, are we gonna do like another Cuphead? Like what's the gist? Because it has that very stylized, like old cartoon feel. It doesn't look hand drawn quite like Cuphead, but it still does a good job at like making it look and feel old. But it is a first person shooter and it is very grimacing. I love it so much. I'm here for it. More of that, please. Although the thing that kind of throws me off is it looks like they're trying to do like cartoon mice, kind of like Mickey Mouse era.
Yes.
like
Steamboat
what it
Willie.
is. Steamboat Willie
Yeah.
specifically, I think is where they're getting their inspiration. And I think they're also getting inspiration from Popeye because there's the spiked spinach a little bit in there. So they're taking some inspiration from like very old cartoons, which I kind of love the nods that they're doing to all these fun like old cartoons. I'm unsure about what the plot is because it just kind of goes off the rails real quick. Am I the good guy or am I the bad guy? I'm not sure, but either way, I want to start blowing off a cartoon mice head as soon as possible.
He's re-
Yeah, I don't know. Is anyone else excited for it other than me? Because
Yeah, this looks pretty good. Although I'm not entirely sure because I don't know how the progression through levels is going to work. Either it's going to drop you in a level and you kind of got to, hunt for keys, kill enemies like a Doom type game, or if it's going to be more
like linear.
point A to B, kill the enemies in a specific way, like Angerfoot or even that Mullet Mad Jack we took a look at
yeah.
without the time limit, without the gimmick time limit of that. But I don't really understand how the game is going to play right now.
Will it be a sprawling epic like Halo, perhaps? Who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe. To be honest, I'd prefer that. I really would prefer it to be like kind of like a storyline based epic adventure where at point A to B, get there, I'm in. I
Make it
love
easy.
that.
Yeah.
I just please, I don't. As much as I like the Doom like kind of thing, I much prefer a much more like point A to B kind of game. That's my shtick. Very excited for that one. David, what is your next game you want to throw on the docket?
So the next game is actually I don't know if it's your game you couldn't figure out the title for, but
Probably.
this one is my game I couldn't figure out the title for. It turns out this is called What the Car?
I
Yes,
had it
it's
on
one
my
of the
list.
games. I thought it was called. I have it written down as not another car game, or not. Oh, it's just an ordinary car game.
Yeah, just an ordinary car game. I thought that's what it was called at first too.
I was
So,
googling it. I couldn't find
I'll
anything.
tell you how I know this because they also made the game What the Golf. And so
Okay.
when I saw What the Car,
Oh.
I was like, oh, I know what's up.
What the car? Okay, so actually, this one has a demo out right now, so I got to play it. I got to play whatever they put in the demo. And looking at the trailer, I thought it was going to be a really like
I thought this was gonna be WarioWare.
not WarioWare, but I thought it was going to be like a janky, haha, physics, everything sucks, you're just flopping around, like
Yeah.
Goat Simulator or something like that. But while everything does look really floppy and silly, it's all like physics driven, it actually controls really, really well for being like a it's almost like a speed run game where it just plops you in the level and you got to get to the end as fast as you can with whatever handicap they give the car. But it controls really, really well. It was a ton of fun to play. There's a bunch of surprises every time you start a level. Like it doesn't tell you what's coming up, so you start the level and it's like, boom, and your car has 5 legs. It's like, what the fuck? And you're like rolling through the level, and you have different power ups, and there's actually collectibles to find. So in each level, there's a card that if you collect it and finish the level, it takes a snapshot of your car's transformation and it goes into like a little collector's book. So your
That's
collectible
cute.
trading cards of all the different car forms.
So how does the okay? So like every time you're like handicapped between each run, is it like a building handicap? Like it's this plus this, or is it it's just
No, each one's
random
completely
each time?
different. Each one is a
Okay.
different car form. So when I started the game, you start off and you're just the walking car. You have legs, and then there's another one where you spout legs all around you. So it's almost like a wheel
have
of
to
legs,
roll.
and you're like rolling around.
Oh,
And
that's
then
fun.
There was one where my tires turned into office chairs and I had a rocket booster. So you have to hold and fire, you fire the rocket to like propel yourself forward, but you're on office chairs. So you have to figure out how to like steer yourself and boost in the correct direction so you're not careening off of the track.
There's also a screenshot on the Steam page showing the car chopping a carrot to put it, it's wearing a chef hat and everything like that. So I think this is one of those games that's going to be like, I don't think we're going to be able to give you all the levels, to be honest, because it's just going to be like,
No.
I don't know. There was that one time
No.
that you fucking turned into a penguin.
But there was, at least
Yeah.
in the demo so far, there's the level race essentially. You get to the end as fast as possible, and then every once in a while you'll start a level, and it'll start almost exactly like one of those levels, but it'll just turn out to be a mini game. So like you start off in this cannon, you press the launch button, and you fire off into the level. And instead of running the race, all of a sudden I had to jump on a trampoline. So like you start off really low, and you have to get consecutive bounces higher and higher until you cross the finish lines at the top.
Yeah. Well,
You have
one
made
thing I
me
kind
much
of
more hype for this game. I'm just gonna let you know because I was like, I don't know about that one.
I
You
was
should.
really
The demo's
excited
out
for
right
it.
now on Steam. You should download it and try it because it is a lot of fun.
See, I saw this, and the first thing I thought of, and it's not apples to oranges, but like for some reason it gave me the vibe was Donut County. For
Yeah,
some reason
kind of.
I had that
Yeah,
feel. the-
It's
the
a bit
goofiness.
more. It's not as polygonal as Donut County. Like Donut County is very simple
Mhm.
shapes. But yeah, it's kind of got that silly, just colorful aesthetic.
Yeah, I hope. Will it say it? Let's see. Oh, it doesn't say yet. I was like, I want to play this on the Steam Deck. 100%.
Well, it's not out yet, and I doubt that they would have put the work in to get the demo running on Steam Deck.
And
True.
I will say this is releasing on September 5th of this year. So again, 4 months, and we'll be able to play this one.
The one thing from the demo, though, and I'm sure it's just a demo thing, but it saves your level progress because you post scores to the leaderboard. There is no way to go back and play a level from like a menu or something. Like if you exit the game,
Oh.
it just boots you out, and then every time you start, you're just starting right from the first level it gives you, and you work your way through them.
Okay.
Gotcha. Well, I imagine that's something that you can do in the game because I imagine the whole idea is like to do better than
Oh,
the
yeah.
last run, and maybe even beat other people's scores, which makes this
Because yeah,
like a very
they give you
competitive
in-game
game.
like essentially like time trial relics from Crash Bandicoot. You have 3 different colors to, not so fast, and then like the fastest. And then you also get posted to the leaderboard.
It seems like the ultimate speedrunner game. Like literally,
It probably
that's
will
all
be.
this game is. I would actually love to watch speedruns of these games when this game comes out. All right, Tim, what do you have on your list to share?
Okay, I have what might be an unexpected title because I've
Oh.
played the previous games. But Cat Quest 3,
Mhm.
I saw that. I have that on my list. Yes.
my god, yes. Let me tell you, Cat Quest 1 and 2, phenomenal games. I don't care what anyone says. They're just these simple little action-adventure titles. There's probably like maybe 20 hours of content between them. They're short, sweet, to the point, very simplistic little action adventures, but there's enough gameplay there to keep you going. There's all the, you play as a cat, obviously, and essentially
No
you're on
way.
a quest to do whatever you're going to be doing, and you get it's like a little bit of hack slash, a little bit of magic, you get everything thrown in there. There's a level up system, there's stats, but it's very simplistic, but it's a lot of fun. And if you are the type who enjoys a little hack and slash action adventure, this is a game for you. All the Cat Quests are a game for you. There's plenty of hidden things to find, little side objectives that you can find just hidden around the world that you don't have to do. They're out there. Very story-driven little game, but it's such a good time. And like the fact that more people haven't heard of Cat Quest drives me crazy because Cat Quest is phenomenal, and I don't care. It may look like a little kid's game, but it is so good. So good.
It almost
it
looks
does
like-
look a little more involved.
Well,
yeah.
especially the first one, because I mean the third one here looks like a proper game, but
Yeah.
the first Cat Quest almost looks like something you could play on Newgrounds. Like it just looks like a Flash game.
Yeah, it may have been. I have no idea. Like I found it on the Switch for free years ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, when I was bored one day, I was just digging through the free library on the Switch, and I found it, and I was like, "Oh my god, this game's great!" And then I bought the second one. I was like, "These are so cool," and it just hooked me instantly. And I do believe that Cat Quest is a game that anyone who enjoys a little action adventure title is going to like. And the first one might still be free, so like no reason not to just try it out. Like it does develop more obviously through the second one, but like the core
It's
gameplay
$4
is
currently.
similar. So there you go, $4. It's worth the shot. Trust me on this
Yeah.
one. It's not a bad game.
You can
The
get
nice
1
thing
and 2
about
for
it, too-
$7.
That's
Yeah.
not bad.
I think it's on sale currently. But the thing that makes me most excited, get this. This one's theme, Pirates.
Pirates. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell
yeah,
brother.
I didn't know
this
what
one
it
looks
was
like
at
it's-
first, and then like when the little cat washed up on shore, I was like, "Oh no way!"
Yeah, I was like, I've never played them, but I've seen them.
Yeah.
And so when I saw this one, I was like, well, now I literally bought the other two just now because I was so excited.
Yeah, they're
about
really
talking
cute
about it.
little games, and they're a good time, and like it deserves more praise than it gets, in my opinion.
And the first two are Steam Deck verified. So just
Yes.
saying. Anyways, and it will be slated sometime in 2024. It doesn't have an exact release date from what
This
I can
year,
tell.
I'll take it.
Yeah, eventually. And here's the thing. Guess what the bad guy rats are called?
What?
Pirates.
Pirates.
Oh,
Yeah,
God,
I was gonna say
Oh.
I'm here for it. I love it. All right, Rick. What's your next game of choice?
My next one, I had What the Car Stolen from Me, which is a little depressing. Shadows of Doubt. Shadows of Doubt I've seen played.
Which one was that one?
That is the voxel detective game. So
yeah. Oh, yeah,
No,
yeah.
but this is like detective immersive sim.
yes. So you don't get to just like it's a whole thing of being able you can try to break into somebody's apartment and you're keeping like detailed notes on how their lives connect and this person does this and you go and talk to somebody at the bar. Like it's not a story, it's not a true storyline that you're like following. So my playthrough is going to be different than yours, Chad, because the person you're like investigating is a different threat.
Oh.
So yeah,
Really?
yeah,
That's really
it's-
cool.
And it's also considered a stealth game. So that's the thing that really kind of sells me because there's so few decent stealth games that I'm hoping that this will be cool. I saw a streamer play this maybe 6 months back, in a really early version of it. And I think that because it is an early access game right now, you could grab it and it's going to be totally different from the one that I watched.
Oh, that would be kind of cool. The only thing that kind of turns me off of this game, and I know it's a stylistic choice, is the like really polygonal kind
It's
of design
voxel.
of the characters, voxel, whatever. Because like the game, everything looks so good, especially the lighting and everything that looks so good, and these characters look weirdly like. The shadows on them are throwing me off because like every little box on their body is like slightly shadowed specifically. I don't know.
This is
throwing me off.
This is insane coming from somebody who loves Minecraft. I just want you to
But
know.
at the same time, I understand what I'm looking at with Minecraft. The pixels on this don't make sense to me because they're like 3D. I don't know. It's just like, at least with Minecraft, it's all like on a 2D plane. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Where this is like a weird 3D pixel plane. That's like a different weird thing to
Just
me.
the idea of the game, though, like, is an instant seller. I think for anyone who enjoys a good mystery, honestly, because like, who doesn't want to go through all of the rigmarole and all of the fancy paperwork that you're going to need to be a detective, right?
That's true.
Well,
Well,
yeah,
yeah,
I think-
everyone loves paperwork.
Yeah,
That's the really cool thing about this game in particular, unlike other like detailed immersive sims, is that there's not like, you're not following quest markers.
Yes.
You're not, things aren't triggering. Like this city is just doing its thing and you have to go and like observe and find out where you need to go next and stay with someone long enough in order to, you know, suss out the clues that you're there to find. It's not just like, oh, go to this area and then that NPC triggers the next portion of the quest. Like he's just going to do his thing and you have to be there and figure out what it is he's trying to accomplish.
I think that's going to be
That's
frustrating for
crazy.
some people because this is a game that's not going to hold hands, and I think that's going to be very frustrating for a lot of people.
probably.
Yeah, but for those who really like the idea of like, the first thing that came to my mind is for anyone who listens to those murder mystery podcasts, this is your fucking game. All right. This is for you because again, it doesn't handhold you. You're part of the mystery. You're trying to figure out. It's all procedurally generated. So it's like, you don't know what's going to happen next. So there's not like something you could just look up on the internet real quick.
Like
and be
Prima
how does this
guides.
end?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no guides. Like it's just maybe some like helpful tips, but other than that, you just got to keep going, which is really cool. Yeah, and there's parts where like you have to wait for people to leave, and you're like in vents, which is like the kind of stealth that you're talking about. So really cool stuff there.
I will
I'm
also
really
let you
excited for
know
that
one of the top reviews on its Steam page. I use my Steam Deck a lot, and this is one of my all-time favorite games to play on it. I love this game so much I made a custom controller scheme from the ground up for the first time to play it on Steam Deck.
Oh, that's cool. See, I like it. It looks like there's also like, it's very positive reviews, and it looks like it's got a community built around it. So I guarantee if you are stuck and need tips, you could just end up going into like some of these like these chats here, and people will help you out because it seems like people are really helpful on it, which is actually very rare for Steam.
Yeah.
I feel like everyone's just trash monsters on here. So.
Well, yeah, man, talk about a tangent. The Steam discussion boards have gone in the fucking crap.
Yes.
Ooh, that should be a fun game. Is like we should make a game out of the Steam discussion boards where it's like,
God.
is it Steam or what?
Yeah.
Or what
You
game?
don't
want
want to wade through that cesspool.
That's fair. That's fair. But the game is slated to release on April 24th, but it is available on early access right now. So if you wanted to play it, it is technically available right now. All right. My last one, I'm between two right now. And one, I feel like I'm just going to throw it out there as a runner up. I'm really excited for Flintlock. I'm really excited to see what's going on.
Mhm.
But I don't have too much to say about it because I feel like it's already been out in the ether for a little bit. And I
Yeah.
don't really want to like spend too much time talking about something that's already been discussed. But the one, and I don't know if this is one that has also been out in the ether for a while and it's just been not crossed my path before because it ended with this one and I was blown away with like how excited I was over this, because it doesn't seem like a typical game I would want to play. But the Rogue Prince of
Yes.
Persia, I
Yes.
almost said Prussia.
So good.
That
It
I was
looks like-
this game, because it started off, the trailer was like this animation,
yeah,
and it was like this really angular, almost like South American Aztec style. And they had like the little girl had a jaguar. I was like, oh, they're doing something different. They're like Prince of Persia. They're in a different location or something. He's traveled to some other thing. But then like, I think in the trailer and even the Steam store page is like, no, he's in Persia. Like it's his kingdom. I'm like, oh, okay. Just a weird art style to have for like a Middle Eastern location.
yeah. I think that's what I was actually thinking, not similar along those lines, but I was watching this, I was like, why is this giving me Prince of Persia vibes? Like, something about this giving me Prince of Persia vibes. And then it gave the name. I was like, that explains it. I don't, like, it gives, so like, I was able to call it before I even seen it. And because this is very much, I guess it's Metroidvania-esque in a way. It's got the very similar design style to it. But again, much like, what's that game that we were just talking about? Gestalt. It looks very smooth.
Oh, yeah.
I was watching this and I was like, I don't know who the developer is on this team, because like I feel like, isn't Prince of Persia a AAA game?
Yeah.
So this must be
they
like
handed this off to a different studio. I actually had to look this up. This is it's still published by Ubisoft, but the studio behind it is Evil Empire, who don't necessarily have. Let me see, Evil Empire.
Why is it familiar?
Yeah, let's see
to
what
me?
they have.
Their logo looked familiar, but I couldn't tell you what it was from.
Yes, so they have also done Dead Cells, is where they're from.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they're the
Oh, okay.
studio
Oh.
behind Dead Cells.
So the
which is-
combat's going to
great
be
game.
amazing.
Yeah, exactly.
Also,
I saw this and
I know
loved
it's like 2D side scroller action, but it's not a Metroidvania. It's actually like it's a rogue. It's obviously a roguelike, but all of the stages are generated. You're not traversing a single map with power-ups like you would in a Metroidvania. You clear each section of the game and like move on to the next one, and they populate them based on different assets.
Really interesting.
Do you know what this
I-
reminded me of? Just watching like the beginning of it, and like I might be misremembering the game a lot because it's probably not this fast paced, but it reminded me of Mark of the Ninja a lot.
Actually, funny you should say that, because it reminded me of Shank, which Mark of the Ninja is the same dev. So yeah,
there you go. Shank's probably a better comparison, but yeah, that's good. I'm glad I'm not the only one.
It's got those Cly vibes.
Yeah.
The only thing that makes me hesitant again is the word action roguelike, but I'm willing to give it a pass if it ends up being as good as I think it is.
If it's stage based, where basically just like you're going through, kill all the enemies and move on, I could see it working, or I could see enjoying it more than like a regular action roguelike where you're like traversing a larger area and they're like, oh nope, died, reset progress, fuck you.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. I think if they say exactly what you're doing, what you said, I think that I could be into this game. But the gameplay just looks fluid, and I'm really excited for this one. But this one's slated to release May 14th, 2024. So really
Very
soon
soon.
on that one. So very excited. It looks like we're all excited for that one. All right, David, your last game that you want to throw out on the table.
Well, actually, all of my games got taken already. All of the games I have been discussed. So I'm going to pull out a wild card for a game that I did not realize is releasing next week. Kill It With Fire 2 is coming out. Spiders
spider
in the
one?
multiverse.
Kill It With Fire 2.
Okay.
Fire 2.
So
I haven't seen-
the first Kill It With Fire, you play as an exterminator, and you get called to various locations. You have to find hidden spiders, and the game gives you a bunch of tools to deal with them. You have like bug spray canisters that you can light on fire and flamethrow, guns that you can shoot the spiders with, and they have different spiders with like different not abilities, but different ways you have to deal with them. And Kill It With Fire 2 is taking that to the next level. The demo started off on like a space station, and they had these
I was gonna
morph
say there's like
spiders.
portals.
Yeah, they had these like morph spiders that were camouflaged as regular household objects, and you had to suss them out and get them to transform and then kill them. And we have like
That's
way
fun.
more tools, power-up abilities. Yeah, Kill It With Fire 2 is gonna be great.
It's just
What
a
a
mindless
nice wild
good
card.
time.
Yeah, you hate
Yeah, is that-
spiders? You can kill spiders
Oh,
in
it's
this
single
game. So
player.
That's right.
There is PvP supposedly. There's or jump into Spider Hunt PvP and play as an 8-legged menace for the first time. So you could play as the spider
Okay.
against other people, or I don't know if it's weird because it says PvP plus single player. So I don't know if it's you're playing it against the
well, I think it's
AI.
I think it's like an asymmetric thing where it's co-op. You got co-op exterminators, and then there's one or more spiders
So
that
got
are
it. So it's a
trying
little
to
bit like
evade
the
you.
prop hunt.
Yeah,
kind
kinda.
of idea. Okay. All right. Either way, that's cool that they're adding that element because I remember you recommending the first one to me a long time ago, and I never did play it, but I watched a lot of videos on it. So I think I got the gist of it. But yeah, 4-player co-op. I saw it just now. It
But
pop
yeah,
up on the side.
I
of my
did
screen.
not realize it was coming out next week. Super hyped.
Very cool. All right. Well, nice little ad there, David. Tim, what is the game that you want to throw on the table?
All right. So I'm going to throw out a game that got me like super hyped that was done right at the end. A little game called 33 Immortals.
Mm.
Oh,
I was gonna put this
My
on there,
God.
but I didn't have enough information about what this game was gonna be about for me to want to put it on my list.
yeah. Let me go ahead and give you the information that I have gleaned. Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Please.
This is going to be a massively multiplayer. Okay, I guess I shouldn't say massively, but massively for this kind of game. It's going to be 33-player co-op action roguelike. Okay.
Jesus Christ.
And it kind of looks like a mashup of like Vampire Survivors, like horde style action meets like a traditional roguelike, but with 33 people and huge spectacle boss fights. So, like, all of that makes my brain scream, I need this, and I'm so excited about it.
Yeah, I remember seeing this I think the announcement was actually at Game Awards last
Yeah,
year or something
it's
close to that. But doesn't it
Absolutely
work?
nuts.
It's like it's almost like Last Man Standing, where like you all started in
Yes.
33,
Yeah.
and then you like people slowly drop out
Yeah.
as they
Is
die.
this like, are you trying to be the last person standing, or are you working together?
There's an overall goal that you need to achieve, but people will drop off until the end. So it's kind of like a
Oh.
battle royale meets a roguelike, if
Yeah.
you will. Yeah, it's insane.
I don't think you're actively fighting each other though.
No, you're
just
trying
no,
to
you just-
achieve the objective, but
Yeah.
yes, people will be dropping like flies the entire time. So,
I guess my question is like, you may not be fighting each other, but are you competing against one another to get like more points or do
it doesn't
more
seem like
things, or-
it seems like anyone who helps to complete the objectives going to get power-ups and stuff as you move forward, and like as long as you're being part of the effort, you're going to get your power-ups as you go on. And then anyone who gets got, I don't know if that's going to help you in any way or if it's just going to handicap the team. Who knows?
I guess my only question is, and I'm assuming they're not going to do this, but you never know. I would hate to be first guy out of the 33 and I have to sit there and watch the rest
Yeah,
of the
forever.
game and it's
Yeah.
like an
No,
hour
and-
long.
Yeah, I would,
you know?
I would assume that you're going to have the option to spectate or leave like every other game like this.
Okay,
So-
yeah, I would hope so. And then I could join a new brigade of 33
Yeah.
to play.
or
That's
maybe
my
even like a
assumption.
respawn checkpoint. Like,
Yeah,
oh, the team
yeah.
made it so far, we can bring you back.
That would be kind of neat
Yeah.
too. You know, maybe they can sacrifice some of their abilities to bring someone back if they really, really feel like they need people. That would be neat.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
I as long as they
Speculation.
don't screw you
Because
over.
again,
Yeah, we don't know.
Speculation,
We don't know everything about this game, but it looks cool as hell, and anyone who's into roguelites, I think, will definitely like what they see here. So definitely check it out if you haven't seen the trailer, because holy crap, I've never seen anything like this.
I actually can't find. Oh, it looks like it's gonna be on Epic Games and Xbox specifically.
Yeah, so there
but
you
right
go.
now, you can sign up to join the beta, which I think is happening starting May 24th. So if you are interested, you could go to thunderlotusgames.com/33-immortals. You could join the beta, and you could tell us. Maybe we'll join the beta, or someone
could.
will. I don't know.
I'm probably
Tim,
going to
join
try.
the beta. Here, I'll send you the link, Tim. Yeah, anyone who's interested, because I would be curious, but I don't think I'm the demo for
You're
this
probably
one.
not.
Let's just be honest. But I sent you the link. We'll even put the link in our notes at the bottom for anyone who's interested in checking out the beta. But very cool. I'm curious because maybe there's music playing. Sorry, threw me off, scared me. Anyways, all right, Rick. What is your final game?
Before I give my final game, I want to give two massive disappointments. I think Pal World, where they announced that it's just the Pal World Arena.
Yeah, they've been talking about
raspberry.
PvP for a while.
Yeah. Even the trailer itself was lame. It was like, oh, hey, they're all like, you got two teams of however many pals you're allowed in this tiny little arena, like absolutely just minuscule. And they're just like throwing shit at each other. And then it's like Pal World Arena. And then the trailer ended. It's like, okay, I guess.
Yeah, I was a little bummed about it too.
I was super disappointed with that one. And the other one that really was just a whiff that I was not interested in at all. My time at Sandrock. I felt like almost everything in this game or in this like showcase was pretty solid. Even if it wasn't for me, I was like, I get it. It's good. My time at Sandrock looked booty cheeks.
Looked like it was your time at Sandrock.
I was actually interested in that one when it first dropped, but like, I don't think I would recommend it to anyone based on what I saw here.
Yeah,
because
no.
I've only seen like minute things about it, like only a small amount of things. The combat looked all right, but like everything else kind of looked.
I know there was a corgi in it, so that was only saving grace. For me.
Chad's
Also,
in. It doesn't
if
matter.
Pal World doesn't allow you to
mean-
like shoot the trainers, we did it wrong.
Yeah,
Okay.
I will also say I almost put another title on my list, but I've heard that like bad reviews have started trickling out for Broken Roads. They showed off another Broken Roads trailer, and
Did they?
yeah,
Oh, is that the Australian one?
it
The
is
like tactics game?
I was
Yes.
excited
Oh,
about
yes.
that. Oh,
yeah.
I saw that and I was
except for the art style. The art style is not great. I'm gonna put that out there. I didn't like the art style at all, but like the gameplay looked great.
But I'll give you the one that I am excited for, Hyper Light Breaker, because
I was gonna say that one too, but I didn't have enough info on it to be
I
confident.
mean, have you played Hyper Light Drifter?
no, I didn't
No.
know it had a
It
predecessor.
is
Okay.
great.
It looks nothing like this. It is a completely different 2D, like it's not. Is it cell shaded? No, it's not cell shaded.
No.
It's like it has a really unique animation style. Nothing like this game. So the fact that they're going with a totally different reinvention while staying in the same sort of like world, I'm into it. Like, I think it's gonna, you have to have such a good, clear idea of what kind of a game you want to make when you make it a 100% different game, you know? So
I did put 2 notes down. I put interesting and fast paced, but unsure if it sold me. That was all I wrote.
I will tell you, Hyper Light Drifter is up there for probably one of the most pirated games of all time.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yes, because it's like Cave Story. Like when you're first getting into indie, like kind of different games, you get recommended Cave Story, you get recommended Hyper Light Drifter. And so if you have time, I would check it out. But the Hyper Light Breaker from the same studio, I think it's going to be a banger.
Yeah, I got
Okay.
super hyped when I saw that pop up because yeah, if you haven't played the first game, totally worth checking out. Like it might not be for you, but at least check it out because it is a fantastic experience, and so is Cave Story. But Hyper Light Drifter, I think, is 1,000 times better than that one. So
Okay. I was getting, because I could have swore there was another Hyperlight game that like not Drifter, not Breaker. There isn't, I don't think. They might be related. But this studio also made something called Solar Ash.
Yes.
And that's what I thought. That's what I thought this was going to be. I didn't realize it was going to be yet another game.
Yeah. Oh, okay. All right. Well, I want to throw out 2 runner-ups that I was going to mention, but we won't have to go into it. Undermine 2.
Yes.
Looked
Looked
kind of
really
cute.
good.
I'm into it.
I never played the first one, but this one made me the trailer for the second one made me want to go and play the first one. So that's a win.
If they had shown
and then-
nothing but Undermine 2 and why can't my brain work? Streets of Rogue 2, I would
Yeah.
have still been happy.
Yeah.
And the second one I have on my list as a runner-up was Raven's Watch. But the only thing I had questions about is like, is this any better than Diablo? Because it feels like that's what they're trying to be, but with a just different style. So that was my only question, is like, will I pick this over Diablo is my only question. But
Probably these
interested to
days.
see.
Can I also point?
Fair enough.
Can I also point out, none of us picked Slay the Spire 2. Quite possibly the biggest announcement in this entire thing.
It's the one I was most hyped for.
I
But
thought Tim was
everyone
gonna bring
knows
it up
Slay
right
the
away.
Spire. We want to talk
Yeah.
about the games that might not get as much attention.
I'm
That's
kind
true.
of surprised nobody picked Dino Lords.
Dino Lords was on there
that was
too.
another big
Yes.
one. Yeah.
Threw it out to the chat, but I didn't get any response from it. So I was like, maybe that's not a good one to talk about.
Because there was another one, like there was like the third or fourth game. It's like, oh, medieval city builder, cool. I mean, it looks fine, whatever. And then just like a T-Rex bust through the wall. I was like, oh,
An
okay.
Ada guy.
Yeah.
An Ada guy. It was a great introduction to a
talked about-
dinosaur.
Every game on my list except for Cataclysmo, which looked
What
like
was
a
that one
city
again?
builder tower defense almost.
Hmm.
That one looked really good, and like I'll throw that one out there just to have it. But like we talked about
Runner up
everything on
there.
my list, so I'm happy. We hit it.
All right, there we go.
We hit everything
Everyone
I
should
thought
be
we needed
happy.
to talk about.
Make it work.
I think we talked about most of the good games in there.
Most of the good games. All right, that's cool.
Yeah. I mean, there might have been a couple others that I would have probably put on there, but everything on my list has been also talked about or at least mentioned. So I'm pretty happy with that as well.
Can we give it a letter grade?
Overall, like the event.
Yeah, just as a like, hey, the Red Hook developers come up to us and they go, hey, tell us what you thought of the entire thing from start to finish.
I think overall I'd give it an A.
Ooh.
I wouldn't give it an A plus. I think I would make more stipulations of what is required. I think 2 things that kind of irked me is like I think there was too many DLC announcements. It kind of bugs me when I see like DLC announcements on there. I was like, I'd rather just see that at maybe at the end or like as a secondary or at the beginning, you know, in like the countdown screen or something like that. Maybe that's the time for DLC announcements. I don't really find that exciting personally, but that's just my personal ick. But I'd give it an overall A. I was overall pretty happy with what was seen.
Okay. I can agree
Anyone
with
else?
that. I think presentation wise, like anything that's new, like the new stuff that they announced, S tier all the way. But like as an
Yeah.
overall like grade, I would say A tier as well. I think that fits because like I was not frothing at the mouth the entire time, but there was a couple moments where I was frothing at the mouth for like 10 minutes straight. So
That's all that matters. That's all
Yes.
it takes. David?
I'm gonna give it a B.
Okay.
I
Okay.
think like, it was a good show. They showed a lot of really interesting stuff. I think, at least for me, it was lacking like a really surprising big, not big, but you know, like just a game that's like, wow, like that looks absolutely
Silk Song?
incredible. I need to, yeah, it was missing Silk Song. But
if
and
then
then,
it would have been S.
presentation wise, I was a little bit upset at the constant interstitials between each single trailer. I thought like just do a transition wipe or something in between to let us know it ended. And then I realized that I can use them to skip the city builder games in the timeline scrub. So I was actually thankful for it in the second half of the show.
Ugh.
And then there was that weird mid roll, whatever it was.
We're gonna
It was
take
like,
a
hey,
break."
let's take a break and
Yeah.
recap what we saw. It's like, why?
No.
Why are we doing
I think
this?
that's only beneficial for if you're live, but I don't feel like that's necessary because we're all watching this on the internet, and after this is up, we could just watch the first 5 minutes or 15 minutes that we missed.
And it's
So,
only
yeah, I
40
agree, that was a
minutes.
little weird.
Like, why do we
Yeah.
need
Right.
a break?
If it was all day event, fine, I get it.
And they didn't, it
But-
wasn't even, like
yeah.
the state of plays or Nintendo's whatever's where they have an announcer and they're like talking you through all this stuff. It was just text on the screen and it's like, let's go. Where it like just flew across with just a bunch of O's. I was like, what are we doing?
Yeah, I think if they wanted to add personality, they should have added a personality. But I'm kind of okay without there being a person like dedicated
Oh, yeah,
to
that's
being
fine.
like, and next up, this game. Yeah, Rick, what do you think? Rick?
They
What-
had
what'd you
the
rate it?
epic world premiere announcer.
I knew it. I hate it. I hate it so much. Personally, I have an ick against it. Save it for like maybe Summer Games Fest because I feel like that's where they kind of, they might have done it at E3 as well. But I feel like I always think of like Summer Games Fest the most when I hear world premiere with that voice or whatever. But anyways, Rick.
I'm gonna give it a B. I was
Okay.
very pleased with this. This was a banger of a showcase. I think more than anything, some of the games just ran together for me. And there was also titles that I thought like, I know I've seen streamers play a bunch of these. So there was like Brotato.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
You know what I
The
mean?
DLC.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
Let's School. Where you build schools and it you know,
that was another one where it's like, oh, it's on console now. It's like, cool.
yeah,
I guess.
exactly.
Yeah.
Um,
Again, if that was in like the countdown screen, cool. I love that. But that doesn't
Or
need to
even
be
if-
in a presentation.
If they had a big content drop, like
yeah.
stupid Vampire Survivors had where it's like
Yeah.
Contra
Yes.
DLC. It's like, and it's on Switch now.
Too
Like just
far on.
just announce that, but like, hey, you can get it on Switch now. Or like, because Tachia had a whole trailer. Where
yeah.
it's like, and we're on Switch now. It's like, all right, I guess.
It's like we've seen that 2 years ago, but okay.
And it's like again, it was I want to applaud Triple I, like the group for doing this. I think they should do as many of these as they can. I will not get sick of them. I do not fault them for the games that they picked, right?
I didn't think it was a pick. I think it was just like, here's what's available coming soon. I don't even think that's a fault in what it is. It's just like, I wouldn't want them to be like coming out in 2027
Yes.
or, you know what I mean? Like that. I think they did a good job on that.
I also the other reason I won't give it an A is that other than Slay the Spire 2, there was none that just were like knock my socks off. They were all
Okay.
good. They were all solid, right? But I think it's something that you have to grow into it. I don't think that you're ever going to put on one and have it be like, this is the best thing we've ever had, because now that they've done it and they've got a lot of reviews, there will be more. Like, I just wanted more weird shit, right? Maybe that's just
Yeah.
like, I don't know, like that's a bad opinion to have, but
Needs
a
more
lot of
with
it,
the car.
yeah, like exactly.
Yeah, more with the car,
Oh.
more Devolver games like Wizard with a Gun.
Yeah, like I
Yeah.
like weird shit. So a lot of these, not that they felt too safe or anything, but they were safe picks. They're like, a lot of them were fantasy based with a somewhat realistic art style, and like I want shit that's just, absurd, because I think that's the kind of stuff that does so well with like when you watch one trailer that has this wild different art style and tone, and you quickly get the whiplash of going to a totally different world out of nowhere. I like shit
Yeah.
like that. So
Okay. Fair
there were a
enough.
couple that I think did a good job at that, like Mouse, for example. I think threw you like, whoa, what am I looking at? And that detective game you just mentioned, the Shadow game.
yes.
I think did a
Shadows
good
of
job
Doubt.
at that as well. Shadows of Doubt. But yeah, you're right. There's a lot of like anime or like that kind of drawn art style that we see all the time now, and the top-down view that we keep seeing everywhere in indie games. That you're right. I think if Rakugaki got a gameplay trailer, I think it probably would have like hit the ground running. People
Yeah,
would
I
probably
think
would have been more excited about it.
if they would have
shown.
shown something from that game, I think it would have stole the show.
Yeah, I agree. But again, we don't know. We can only
I
speculate.
can't
so.
agree because Slay the Spire 2 was
Right.
on there.
Which by the way, since I teased it in the chat earlier, what on earth are they doing announcing early access more than a year out? Like either
Yes.
either
That's
announce
fair.
early access a couple of months down the line, or that you're releasing a year or more out. Don't announce early access a year out.
I
Yeah.
guarantee
I didn't notice
you
that. I thought they were talking about the release.
No.
I didn't know it was early access.
they were, and I promise you it's because they went, we need to announce either Silk Song
Yeah.
or Slay
Oh,
the Spire 2.
Yeah.
What
And
do you
they're
got?
like, we got a year before early access. And they say, fuck it, put it in. Like, it does not matter.
It's fair.
Yeah, that's fair.
And
Well,
Slay the
anyways, we want to
Spire
hear what
was
you
a
think.
huge early access game too. It was in early access forever.
Was it?
Yes.
Well,
Uh-oh.
that happened. But
Is
still.
this one doomed to the same fate?
I mean, it's going to be the same thing, yeah. And then they're going to listen to the audience and add all kinds of stuff that we want before they fully release it, and then everyone's going to love it. It's going to be great.
I guess. But anyways, we want to hear what you think. So if you want to participate in conversation, you can go to our YouTube channel. You can go to youtube.com/@First30 Podcast.